hopefully good luck on your run, and we'll be able to come in under time. And I'm hoping too for everything to go well with the arm wrestling with Ignatius, because I know that's been a stumbling point for folks before. So
yes, definitely. No, thank you very much. This is Escape. It is one of the leads on the game, Mike Stemley, said it was everyone's 4th or 5th favourite Monkey Island game. It's a very controversial entry in the series, and it's a very strange run as well. For instance, it's the only speedrun that you have to draw a pentagram before you even start, and that will explain that a bit later. Yeah, and I am very excited to announce the fact that we have a whole host of new strategies that I'm going to be showing off that help reduce the time for this run by about 2 minutes. Some of them require no skill at all, so it's really, really fun and exciting, and I'm looking forward to showing them off for the first time in this run. So the timer starts when I hit new game. So am I good to do a 3-second countdown for that?
Yep, good to go.
Yeah, okay.
Ready
3,
for you.
2,
sorry
1,
about that.
go. So Escape pretty much picks up where Curse left off. So at the end of Curse, Elaine and Guybrush were off on honeymoon. In Escape, it's been 3 months, and they've come back from honeymoon and they've been declared dead. They've been gone too long, and there's an order out to demolish the governor's mansion. So what we have to do, we have to get some crew together, sail to Luca Island, where we're going to talk to some lawyers and get ourselves declared alive. Also stop them knocking down the mansion. So the first thing we're going to do is head to the Scum Bar, and we're going to talk to the owner of the Scum Bar, Ignatius Cheese, and get him to join our crew. We do this with insult arm wrestling, same as other insult stuff, only in this one you start with all of the responses and all of the insults, and you just kind of have to hope that he's not very good. And sometimes he's very difficult to beat. This is not great. There we go. Sometimes he's very easy to beat. That was a particularly strong cheese. Particularly nasty cheese there. And now, question for the chat: who thinks this guy is dead? It's just started the run, and that is such a hefty thunk sound effect. I think it's. I think just experiencing that, most people think, oh, okay, that guy's gone. He is not coming back. We're just picking up a couple more things, and we're going to head to the mansion. So what's the main mechanics of this run? How's it kind of work? So unlike the previous runs, there's no pointing or clicking in Escape. Everything's done with the controller. And the movement kind of changes with every camera change, which is not fun at all. But we have to overcome those challenges, and basically, in order to interact with stuff, because there's no cursor, Guybrush just has to be standing in the right place, looking in the right place. You get a list of hotspots that he can see, and you have to kind of quickly pick out the right one to interact with it. If you play this casually, you know that he's really awkward to control. There's often a lot of shuffling back and forth trying to get the right hotspot. But we can't afford to do that because we want to go fast. So the main sort of skill you need is to be able to control Guybrush with all these camera changes and kind of snipe hotspots as you run past, just pick them out. And so a lot of that, both of those, so we're just going to destroy this catapult in the most ridiculous way imaginable. The boulder goes back, and there it's gone. So both of those mechanics are kind of shown off in this mansion, because despite living here, there's like 6 cameras in this mansion. There's a lot of camera changes. I don't know why Guybrush has so many. Where's 1, 2, 3? and then
This
and then pick out
seems like a symptom of it being run in the Grime engine, actually.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, though Grim Fandango kind of seemed to do this a bit better than Escape does, but yeah. The other thing is animation cancelling. So there's a lot of animations in the game that you can skip. You pick something that you want to do, and you want to kind of... So here's an example coming up. And you want to skip the animation as quickly as you can, but if you skip too quickly, Guybrush will just give up and not do what you told him to. So there's a lot of timing elements with the animation skipping. So here's our other two crew members, Carla and Otis, from right the way back in Monkey Island 1. And despite how horribly traumatised they were by the last time they interacted with Guybrush, they are immediately convinced to join us again. So they're now on our crew. So we're going to head to Luca Island now to talk to the lawyers and get ourselves declared alive. And the lawyers is going to absolutely fly past. We're going to spend absolutely no time with the lawyers, but they're going to tell us to go to the bank, where a much more interesting story arc happens than talking to lawyers. So here's the lawyers coming up. So that was the lawyers, and they tell us to go to the bank. And then while we're in the bank, Peg-Nosed Pete is going to rob it. But he is going to rob the bank dressed as us, pretending to be us. So the main sort of story arc on this island is trying to prove that we're innocent. And it was Peg-Nosed Pete instead. So you might hear him at some points through this saying like, "Oh, I'm Guybrush" and stuff like that. So there's a lot of that kind of picking up things here. So as well as animation cancelling, there is animation layering. This is one of the new strats. So some animations can't be skipped, but we can sometimes play two different animations at the same time, which of course saves time, because you only have the time of one of them. And we've got one of those coming up here. So we're adding these sponges to the door, and for the third sponge, the animation for adding it to the door is going to be doubled up with bringing out this grog. So then we just add the grog and we're done. So that is the first of the quite a few new strats that I've added to this run over the last week. So we're out, but we've got this on our ankle, which stops us leaving the island because they think we just robbed the bank. We are going to head to the House of Sticks here, and it introduces then our second bad guy. So we've got Peg-Nosed Pete who robbed the bank, and we've also got this Australian chap called Ozzy Mandrill. He's kind of buying up all of the property in the Caribbean. Everyone dislikes him. He's got a cane, and that's going to be important. We're going to make use of that later. But first, he left that. You might have noticed he left those wood shavings behind. We're going to pick those up. So the main riddle on this island, there is someone who can identify people from their smell. So we kind of have to build a replica of their smell. It's kind of a riddle, so it tells you like, oh, he smells a bit like wood, so he picked up those wood shavings. He smells a bit like swamp water, obviously doesn't smell good, so we're just adding that there now. He smells a bit like a flower, which hopefully counteracts the swamp water, so we're just adding the flower.
There.
And then we're going to talk to Ozzy again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to annoy Ozzy by spraying this platypus. That'll cause him to... So it's some animation skip in there. That'll cause him to snap his walking cane, so he goes to get another. We're going to tamper with that. Quick bit of inventory work. We need to add those wood shavings. We only pick them up.
There.
We need to
That
add
should make
those
the
to
concoction smell interesting.
the perfume. And then, who in chat gets the reference? We have a broken sword, and we are going to remove this manhole to get into the sewers.
It says
Jerry. So there's 3 names written on it: Jerry, Mindy, Jed. They're different every time. You're going to be hearing that a lot. This time they were Jerry, Mindy, Jed. Jerry, Mindy, Jed. And we get our prosthetic skin. Lovely. Anyone that's interested in doing this run, by the way, but doesn't really want to do a full hour, or maybe just doesn't want to do monkey combat, there is an abomination % category, which is pretty cool and goes by in about 7 minutes. Basically, as well as that prosthetic skin, you can get other prosthetics from him. You can get 7 other prosthetics and then combine them to make a kind of Frankenstein's monster. This prosthetic skin is obviously a trampoline. And the abomination % speedrun is just try and create the Frankenstein's monster, release it into the wild as it was meant to be, as quickly as you can.
I don't know what else I'd use skin for.
Bouncing into the scene of the crime, obviously. Back at the scene of the crime, we find Pegnose's nose, his prosthetic nose. And then... Oh, okay, so that's a very tricky bit of animation layering that you can do, is that you can actually pick that up while leaving the door if you get it just right. But yeah, that's quite a difficult one.
Yeah. Where?
There are these 2 chess players. You kind of have to... This is more RNG in the game.
Where?
You have to distract them while they're holding a piece in order to get them to drop that piece. It means you can pick up the clock. Now, there's an Easter egg here, which is that these chess players look like the leads from the game, but I don't think anyone looks like this. I think these are the worst 3D models imaginable. So maybe if they look like anyone, they look like the leads of the game. But the 3D models of characters in this game are pretty dire. We have a rare bit of audible dialogue here. We're going to pick up the clock and he'll call us something. For some reason different every time. Soft rocker, wonderful. So that's the most important part of the run, obviously, is what are we going to be insulted with. And then the best item in the game, there's this duck who's waddling around. And he quacks in protest, but we pick him up nonetheless. He's ours now. That duck's so important, he managed to make the cover of the game. Some more animation layering there, and we get the termites. So now we've completed our potion, our perfume that smells like Pegnose, because he also smelled like bait. So we're going to head to Deadeye Dave, and we're going to spray our perfume on him, and he'll tell us Pegnose's real name. Again, this is different every time. This game just loves randomised puzzles, so you have to do kind of different thing every time you play it, which makes it fun.
Edward M. Bow is my
Edward
best
M.
customer.
Bow. Okay. So you kind of have to encode the name on these wheels. Edward M. Bow. Of course, the faster names are the ones where you don't have to move the wheels as much. That wasn't so bad. And we get directions.
They're weird.
Pegnose's
It's
house.
more like a train schedule to me.
Now this is a very strange puzzle. So those directions were actually like times and where you need to go for those times. And so now we've got a clock, it says in the bottom. What is that, 4:10? The hardest challenge that I have to do is learning how to read an analog clock again for this game. So we have 1:25. And those directions, again different each time, said like go north, go west, go east, go south. And this puzzle gets 12:15. This puzzle gets even stranger in a second, because as well as following these times to kind of navigate through, we have Guybrush from the future, who turns up, and he gives us a key, and he gives us lots of different things. You in the future. And he gives us, again, different every time, randomised. What he says is different, what he gives us is different, the kind of order of stuff.
Really me.
What number am I thinking of? 9,000, okay. So you in the future, 9,000. And you have to remember what he says, because in a second, if you're following this, we're going to be him talking to us from the past, and we have to copy this exact interaction beat for beat. So we have to give the same items in the same order, we have to say the same things that he said, we have to be thinking of the same number, all that stuff. 345. And if you get it wrong, it creates a paradox, sucks you into this vortex, you have to do the whole thing again. 225. And 310. Okay, fantastic.
Hey, guys.
So what he did was he gave Guybrush the key, then he said I'm you from the future, then he gave the rubber chicken with the pulley in the middle, then he gave the gun, and then he was asked the number, and it was that one. Fantastic. So that can be quite tense, because if you're grinding this game a lot, you kind of often end up thinking, oh, your thoughts go elsewhere, and you realise you weren't actually following this conversation. You've got to do the whole thing again, which can't be fun. So another little bit of tech that I'll mention that I used there is, you might have noticed when I go in the inventory, it's pretty slow. You have to kind of go through all of the inventory items one at a time. 1225 south. But what you can do is you can assign hotkeys on the fly. So when I was in the inventory to get out the key, I assigned hotkeys to the other items he gave me. And then what that meant was all I had to do was press the hotkey to bring out that item, and it made it a bit quicker later on. But you have to be pretty clever about what you assign hotkeys and when, to reduce the time you spend in the inventory, and also to make sure you're not like assigning hotkeys over items you're going to need later. So here's Pegnose, and he is terrified of ducks. Luckily we have a duck. And we get this wonderful cutscene. The duck chasing him out. The duck looks so innocent, doesn't know the havoc that he's caused. But now we've caught Pegnose, and we proved he was at the scene of the crime. All we need to do is find the stolen heirlooms, because he stole our grandfather's heirlooms, which we were picking up from the bank. So Ozzy knows where they are, and we are going to tamper, so that's a hotkey press there. We're going to tamper with his cane that he's just bought, add those termites to it from earlier. So now he's got this termitey cane, it'll leave little piles of dust behind. Now, I don't know what chat thinks, but Ozzy doesn't look very fast. This puzzle makes absolutely zero sense to me, because if you follow him normally, he like manages to throw off Guybrush somehow. I don't know how you couldn't just follow him, but somehow he is the fastest person in the universe. Guybrush just cannot follow that man. He needs this trail left behind. Okay, so we trick him into going to the booty showroom. We tell him that we've already stolen all the heirlooms and got away, so he's going to go there and check now. And this is unskippable. The game really wants you to know that those termites are working their magic.
Lies, termites, what won't Guybrush pick up?
So we found the hidden passage. And we are going to dive in. And now this is actually the first example of animation layering that was found. And it was found by the workers that found you can actually bring up your inventory here.
There. Now my bait will stay fresh.
And so it's very clear and obvious what's happening now. As you watch, you'll see this animation of Guybrush sinking will match up with him bringing out the bait. Yet more RNG, sometimes these fish just never show up. Oh no, okay. And sometimes they run away from Guybrush. So Oh, you're kidding me. So we really want those fish to be as close to Guybrush as they can get. And sometimes they're really nice, and sometimes they're like this. There we go, we got one. And he needs the fish because otherwise he can't see that massive entrance next to him. We found the heirlooms. And it comes with a screw. That screw is going to fit on Pegnose's prosthetic nose. And so now we prove our innocence, we're going to head back to Melee Island. So what's exactly the story now? Well, we've got our heirlooms back, and they hold this. They tell us this tale of like the ultimate insult. It's this really powerful insult that can control all of the pirates in the Caribbean. And what we're going to have to do is try and... well, we're going to be back on Melee Island not knowing what to do with this information, so we're going to head to the voodoo lady and ask her what to do. And we sort of find out which island we need to go to in order to build the ultimate insult for some reason. Along with Guybrush trying to build the ultimate insult, the Chuck's trying to build the ultimate insult, so it's kind of this Chaos Emerald style story where you don't want it to get into the wrong hands, and so you're just building this horrible thing. So we're back on Melee Island, and we have... Now I will do a very hot take here, is that I don't think Meat Hooks as an environment looks that bad. A lot of people complain about how this game looks, and sure enough, like, the characters look awful, Guybrush looks terrible. But in terms of this setting, I think this setting for 2000 in particular is quite a pleasant setting. Sadly for the speedrun we spend 2 seconds there and we're gone. And we're left with how bad the rest of the game looks, but still. There is luckily a setting later on I also think looks pretty nice, and we spend a bit more time there. So we're getting some grog. And then shortly after picking up the grog, we are going to get the second example of animation layering that was found. So this is... I don't know how this was the second one. This was found by GameSlayer, and yeah, so I didn't manage it there. It's almost impossible. I've got it maybe 1 in 100 attempts, is that you can put away the grog while walking into Melee Island. But with that and the previous one with the diving, we knew something was up. So I had a bit of a look into that and found there's actually lots of examples of this animation layering you can do, which is quite cool. Bit of an awkward conversation with the voodoo lady there. It wouldn't be a conversation with the voodoo lady if it wasn't quite a particular and difficult to navigate dialogue. And now we have a nice reference coming up. So Scum was the engine used in the last 3 games. And so we had the Scum bar. Scum, of course, quite dirty and gingy bar. But now the engine for this, the scripting engine, is Lure. So they've changed the Scum bar to this Lure bar, and it now serves cocktails and sushi. There we go. This used to be the most relaxing part of the run. All you would do is order sushi and wait for it to arrive. And sadly, it is no longer... it is now the most stressful part of the run, because I found out you can order the sushi, stand up, run away from where you were sitting, do a load of other stuff, and you've just about got time to get back. GameSlayer calls this the heart attack strap because it is just an unnecessarily tense part of the game now. So I'm very sorry for finding out that. There we go, just in time. So that fire is going to melt that painting behind, revealing the map to the location we want. But yeah, it's too far into a run for a strategy that risky. If you don't get it, you lose maybe 40 seconds. It's just a run killer. Just like in real life, I guess, if you were to order food and then get up and do other things, pretty stressful. So also between ordering the sushi and doing that thing with the paintbrush, stopping the boats, I hotkeyed a load of items. Now we're going to interact with a figurehead, which is actually we can use these items on her. They're all voodoo items, but they're all hotkeys, so we can get them pretty quickly. Second one hotkeyed, and there's the third one hotkeyed. And I'm going to go in, hotkey this quickly, and then give her that. Now, if you've not played this game, which island do you think we're going to based on this map? It is so obvious, and it takes her painfully long to find it. Because there are only 3 islands of note. One is Melee, one we've just been to is Luca, and there is one other island on this map of any meaningful size. And it's the last one she checks. There we go, Jambalaya. So Jambalaya is kind of like a tourist trap sort of island, but in and amongst that there are these 3 pieces of the ultimate insult that are going to be hidden, so we kind of have to, it's a bit sort of Ridley, you kind of have to work out what exactly are these pieces, where are they. Before we go to the touristy bit, we're actually going to head over to its twin island, Nutten Atoll.
Good.
Oh, drat. Okay. So this chap, Admiral Kasaba, fires at any group of 3 pirates or more. So he was far ahead of his time and decided to enforce social distancing back in the year 2000. And so we are going to grab these 2 puppets here. And that will mean that we can convince him that we are 3 pirates. So hotkeyed item there. We're going to grab the puppet so we can now get him to fire at us whenever we want. So these are just items that we need later, really. We're going to head to the Pirate Transmogrification class. This is Miss Rivers, who tries to convert pirates into not being pirates. Pirates are bad, pirates are mean, pirates are pond scum. 3 most important lessons you'll ever learn. So she's going to ask us questions, and we have to reply with the most piratey answer we can to kind of terrify her, which is good fun. Like, playing casually, this is a really, really fun bit of the game. As always with this game, for no good reason, it's randomised. She asks different questions each time, all the answers come up in a different order. As a runner, you kind of just need to spot what's the most piratey as quickly as you can. Got the second one coming up. Oof, there we go. And basically that dunce cap on that desk at the front, that's what we're after. So we want to give 3 really piratey answers, and she'll give us the dunce cap. There we go. So we get that dunce cap, and now we also want to steal something from in here. So we're going to set off the fire alarm and steal it. Again, playing casually, pretty funny, because you can just carry on setting off this alarm again and again, and she says, like, oh no, another fire! She catches you, she knows it's a joke each time, it's a trick, but it's still real in her mind, and like the next time she falls for it as though, oh no, today is the day we've had 10 fires. There we go. And now we're going to head back to Jambalaya. And for fans of Stan, I am very, very sorry, because Stan is in this game and we have absolutely no interaction with him. So there we go, that was the entire interaction with Stan, and we won't be seeing him again.
Tragic.
So the 3 parts of the ultimate insult. So this, this is a tourist trap island. We have a micro groggery, which we're going to head into first. We also have a Star Buccaneers coffee,
Careful there.
which is translated in international versions, Star Buccaneers, because maybe they don't have Starbucks, is translated as Cappuccinos, which I think is quite a nice pun as well. And there is a Planet Threepwood, which does Mega Monkey meals, and in particular, their Mega Monkey meal comes with a Mega Monkey mug. So the Ultimate Insult, the parts of the Ultimate Insult, we have a bronze hat, we have a golden man, and we have a silver monkey head. So you might be able to see this statue in the background, sort of gives a hint of where the bronze hat might be.
Looks like
It used to be on this statue.
nope.
The silver monkey head is going to turn out to be that silver monkey mug from Planet Threepwood that we're going to steal. So we're going to get a...
Nope.
So we're going to get a Star Buccaneers mug. That's what we're going to swap out for the yeah. So we're going to get a Star Buccaneers mug. We're going to swap that out for the Mega Monkey mug, which is going to be our first part of the Ultimate Insult. For fans of Murray, I'm even more sorry than for fans of Stan, because yes, if you were worrying, that is Murray, and there he goes. There is even less interaction with Murray than there is with Stan. We just run straight past him. He's supposed to be the bouncer of this place, but he just doesn't do anything really.
What? Good.
So we get this guy to draw our caricature. There is the Mega Monkey mug. He draws our caricature with the mug, which of course gives us a drawing of this mug. We stick that drawing onto the Star Buccaneers mug, and it makes it, well, it doesn't make it look like the Mega Monkey mug. It's the worst fake that you've ever seen, but somehow the waitress falls for it, or maybe she just isn't paid enough to care. But either way, it works. So here we go. We're going to go into our inventory, add the glue to the drawing.
Now I can stick this on something.
We stick the drawing of the mug onto the mug,
Gee, this might actually pass as the real thing.
and there's our fake. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Load of hotkey stuff here, and then swap them out.
And I don't think he'd...
And we are off. That's our first piece of the Ultimate Insult.
Nice.
So our second piece
Are you...
is the Golden Man. And the Golden Man is the award for this diving competition. We got to dive against this Marco de Pollo. Doesn't he look fabulous? He is World Diving Champion. Sadly, we are not World Diving Champion, we are Guybrush Threepwood. So all we can do in response is cheat. There are 3 judges, and we have to convince them that we're just as good at diving as Marco de Pollo. One of them you just kind of blackmail. One of them you copy Marco's moves, and one of them you have to get the smallest splash into the water as possible. Now, for any of you in the chat that want some on-the-fly adventure game puzzle solving and haven't played this game, see if you can guess how we reduce the splash into the water, because you have seen the answer somewhere in this run. How might we reduce the splash as we enter the water here? So this is the first dive, and we're always going to lose this one. There's no way around that. When you play casually, in order to copy his moves, you kind of have to talk to one of the judges, and find out what each of the moves are, what buttons control them, and then listen to the announcer. He says what moves Guybrush is doing. But of course that's quite slow. We want to go fast. And luckily there are slightly different animations for each of the moves. So we don't quite need to listen to the announcer. We can just watch this animation, though it's quite particular, so I'm going to watch this quite carefully now. Left, right, up. Left, right, up, okay. Now here is the answer to getting a small splash as possible. is you wear that dunce cap from earlier. That streamlines your entry into the water. Left, right, up. For those of you that were wondering about the blackmail, by the way, we blackmailed him by showing him a photo of him standing next to a woman. It makes very, very little sense. This is quite funny. For the third dive, you don't actually have to do any moves. The guy just can just plummet, just yeets himself off and just bump, falls into the water. And all the judges are like, oh yeah, great dive, wonderful, 10, 10, 10. But yeah, you've got a photo of him standing next to a woman that isn't his wife, and he's so embarrassed by this that he gives you 10s. It's very strange. Luckily, we spiked Marco's oil, so now for his last dive, the birds are going to be after him. And look at this dive. This is a rubbish dive. There's nothing compared to our plummet. So they give. Also, the blackmail judge still gives him 10, but the others knew it was rubbish. So we've won the competition. We've got our second piece of the ultimate insult. Now, for the third piece, we have another bit of RNG, another little randomised puzzle, and it is just like coffin guessing time for MI2. This is boulder guessing time for MI5. Instead of it being coffin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is boulder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first boulder is fastest. The fifth boulder is slowest. The main difference between this and MI2 is that there's actually 36 boulders on the beach, but thanks to a strategy that Leo came up with, we can actually reduce that. This is another quite difficult little bit of conversation. Thanks to a strategy that Leo came up with, we can reduce the 36 to just having to check 5 boulders through the power of maths. It does mean you have to do some kind of working out on the spot in the run, but it's really great. So thanks to Leo for that. 3, 4, 5. First boulder is wonderful when you get it, but I never get it. So 2 parrots, one tells the truth, one lies. We're going to get one drunk so we can tell them apart. And then talk to the drunk one. And luckily the sober one is the one that tells the truth, and he tells us to go south. So not the first boulder. Some little animation layering. And no, second boulder. That is a really, really fast boulder. Okay,
Hi there.
that's quite wonderful.
Hi, Cap.
And suddenly we're on Monkey Island. So the obvious, predictable thing happened. We managed to construct the ultimate insult. LeChuck takes it from us. And then banishes us to Monkey Island for good measure. So LeChuck now has the ultimate insult, and we're trapped on Monkey Island, and all we have to do now is, as the title says, escape from Monkey Island. So we got a banana picker, straight from Monkey Island 1 again, and the banana picker is going to pick these bananas. Unlike in Monkey Island 1, the banana picker doesn't just pick the bananas. The banana picker is an everything picker in this game. For some reason, everything on this island is like just out of arm's reach. So we will not just be picking bananas with that banana picker. We will be picking everything. Everything that Guybrush can see needs that banana picker pretty much. So some quick hotkeying, and we are going to give Timmy a banana. Timmy is probably the worst, least favourite hotspot in the game, because as well as being a very small and pedantic hotspot, he moves. He moves randomly. Sometimes you have to really chase him down with a banana to give him it. There we go. But just like in Monkey Island 1, we can get him to go wherever we want with bananas. And just like in Monkey Island 2, monkeys can solve any mechanism for no apparent reason. Slight bit of animation layering here is possible, if I get it. Oh dear. Oh dear, okay. There we go. Drat, okay. So the idea here, so this is one of the hard ones as well, is you can Oh, I got the second one. Okay, I managed to close the vent while bringing out another banana. You can open the vent while bringing out a banana as well. And then we're going to head down here, and we pick up our second item, and of course it is just out of arm's reach, so we are going to use our banana picker. So anyone that's keeping count, that is item 2 with the banana picker. We're now going to head to what is by far the worst puzzle in the game. Leo was, Woofs was saying the other day that he likes this less than Monkey Combat, and I would have to agree. There is just nothing to this. It's just, you throw these rocks down these channels, and it is a timing puzzle, and you just have to wait for the right time to throw them down the right channels. And you're just here forever. Playing it casually, you just throw the boulders randomly and hope. Playing it in a speedrun, it's not especially challenging. You just kind of have to wait for each one.
I have to agree that this one is just the bane of my existence.
But as for Bane of Your Existence, a lot of people hate Monkey Combat. And Monkey Combat is coming up, but we've worked really hard, specifically on Monkey Combat, because it's such a horrible, long thing. And especially with the new strat, which I have teased, the new strat that I'm going to be showing off, you can get Monkey Combat down to easily 3-4 minutes. It is amazing, just how quick it can be.
That's incredible, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, so when you watch casual playthroughs, often like hours on Monkey Combat, and by the end of it, they're just they're ruined as people.
Yeah, I don't want to know how long I spent on it the first time.
It's pretty tedious.
I'm glad I wasn't counting.
For those wondering, by the way, this is the second environment that I think is looks pretty nice, especially for 2000. It's got it's the Church of LeChuck. It has a river of lava flowing through it. I mean, look at that. It's got stained glass of LeChuck at the back. The lava looks a bit like cheese tomato sauce, but with kind of everything. I just think it looks quite pretty. I think it's still quite easy to look at, even from 3D from the time. We have another randomized puzzle. This is like a maze now, but it's kind of a directional maze. Luckily, it's not that randomized. There's only about 6 different things that this can even be, but you need to be able to recognize which one it is very quickly. So, okay. Because you need to immediately make a decision at the first fork where you're going to go. In order to pick up that milk bottle, which I don't blame you if you just didn't see it. It is a tiny glimmering pixel. And then we're going to get off the other side of the island, and then it is on to Monkey Combat. So for those of you that don't know, I am so happy for you. You do not need Monkey Combat in your life at all. But basically it is a 5-way version of rock, paper, scissors. And in addition to that, there are different sort of chants, things that you can chant to move between the different positions. It is pretty disastrous. Often people fight lots of different monkeys in order to even have a hope at fighting the sort of final boss, the kind of Jojo, the Monkey Prince. But we are actually only going to fight 2 monkeys, followed by Jojo, and we have some nice additional strats for actually beating those monkeys pretty quickly as well. So here is Jojo. So I might talk a bit less during this section because it does require concentration. And my pentagram, my lovely pentagram, which I've drawn earlier. So he explained how Monkey Combat works to us, and he also gives us the first move, and what beats what. So he tells us that Gimpy Gibbon beats Bobby Baboon, so GG beats BB. And he also tells us one move. GG beats BB, Ayo. Ayo. GG beats BB, and Ayo. So while this next bit's happening, I'm just going to be writing that down. GG beats BB and AEO. So this is not a usual skill for a speedrun, is being able to find time that you can write notes as you go. But notes are absolutely crucial for this run. Right, so we have the first monkey here, not that one. So we want to fight the timid monkey first. There we go, there's timid monkey. And so hit Bob and Boone, AOE, takes us to that, AOE. And our first strategy is basically cheating. So we're going to save the game, and we are going to guess a move. And we guessed right. And basically, if you guess wrong, you just reload and guess a different move. AOE. Back. And so we need to save again. AEC. Nope. ACE. Yes. So ACE takes us there. And that beats that. Excellent. Okay, so you also kind of want the monkey to throw at some point, so that you can win the match. And luckily, AAC, okay. Oh, so I'm going to have to try another here.
I think I remember someone in the Speedy Adventures Discord recently talking about when this RNG is determined exactly.
Ah, yes. Yes, so we dipped into the code because there are some strange things that happen. There's some moves that happen more often than others, and it's not clear why. And we dipped into the code and find out that actually they got all their maths wrong. There is a load of mathematical errors in the code, which kind of causes some biases and some weird stuff happens behind the scenes. We use that to our advantage in the run.
Wow, that tree just fell right
So
over.
when I'm guessing those moves, I'm not just guessing anything. I'm guessing the most likely move that it could be for any of them. But it's still just a probability. You still just hope.
I was definitely wondering if that had anything to do with what you were choosing.
Yes, it does. Yeah, so I go from most likely down. So thank you, whoever made that mathematical error. We are very grateful. So now we're just throwing stuff at Herman. He's lost his memory, and we just throw stuff at him to help him get his memory back. And here we have the most controversial cutscene in the entire series. Luckily I'm going to skip it, so we can pretend it never happened. For those of you that don't know, basically Herman says, oh, I'm not Herman, I'm actually Horatio Marley, I'm actually Elaine's grandfather, and I was sucked into a whirlpool in Australia, I didn't end up on Monkey Island. There was stuff about giant monkey robots. It's I had no idea what was going on with the writing at that point. I know Ron said that he's not gonna sort of overwrite the lore of the later games, or something like that. Like they still stay canon, but I strongly doubt that everything that happens in that cutscene is going to be canon. I think we can just say that, oh look, we chucked all that stuff at him. Everything he said afterwards because of the brain damage. Just ignore everything he said after that.
I think I did see where Ron or someone did say that Herman was coming back, though, which raises a lot of questions for me.
Yes, he's coming back, but he definitely isn't Elaine's grandfather, I think. Yeah, so this is just our second monkey fight. And the last one before Jojo. So we also might need to do a very especially cheating thing and just save and load until the other monkey does the wrong move. If he's just keeping on doing the right move. We have no moves for this. Okay, so we're going to need to save anyway. A, C, O, we don't have. Oh dear, this isn't going well. Okay, fab. OAE. Oh, the losers. Oh, we'll work out something. Can't do that. OEA. Nope. Oh dear. OAC.
Ow!
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with.
No wonder you have to, like, draw a pentagram for this. This whole process is just a cult.
Yes, very much
Completely
so.
an enigma to me.
It would definitely help if we could just summon demons to get us past monkey combat somehow. Right, drunken monkey. I want ACE. Oh, and I did the wrong move. Okay.
Ooh.
That's what I meant to do. Huh. Okay. I'm just going to go back there. Yeah, so usually this would be a much faster strategy. I think it is still faster than casual play at least, but sadly this monkey is being particularly stubborn. CEA. That's actually the one we wanted from before, so I can now use that.
I'm just glad that like saves coming it actually works in this instance.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of situations with the RNG in several of the Monkey Island games that you can't.
Yeah, very much so. AOE. Luckily, this monkey has no idea of all the alternate universes in which he's thrashing us. AO. Okay, we want AOC now. Now we want to save. And we're now really just hoping that he messes up. Yes! Perfect, okay. So just when we needed it, that monkey messed up. And now I get to show off the fantastic new, and it is really astonishing. It's wild that not only did no speedrunner find this strategy, no casual player seems to have worked this out. It's pretty entertaining. It's crazy that this works, but yeah. So we're fighting Jojo, and basically ACO. That one. Basically, he plays perfectly. So you would think we have to play perfectly too. Oh no, I messed up. I lost thing there. AEC. And oh no, I've lost again. And you may be thinking, well, surely this just loses. It really looks like I've completely lost my mind, and this is never going to work as a speedrun strategy because I'm just losing to Jojo here. But amazingly, so Gimpy Gib and Bob and Baboon, OAE. So long as we win the very last move, watch this. It just obliterates Jojo's health. I have no idea at all why it does that. I don't know why they programmed it to do that. Maybe it was just a shortcut that they wanted. But you can AOE. You can basically just completely lose to Jojo and then win at the end, and it counts. So we've now got Jojo's hat. So for those of you wondering what exactly are we doing here, we've just done a load of stuff. We've got the bronze hat, and we are kind of building another ultimate insult. So we've got the bronze hat from the ultimate insult. There's also this silver monkey head, which was there in the first game. It's a bit big, but it still counts. And for whatever weird reason, the banana picker counts as the gold man. That one doesn't really make any sense, but still. So we throw the bronze hat on top.
Now if I can somehow...
We use our banana picker as the golden man. And then we head inside, and more retconning, more hideous retconning, is that this isn't a portal to hell. It is in fact a giant monkey robot. So now we're inside this giant monkey robot. And basically, LeChuck's plan with the ultimate insult... here we're in this sort of testing zone. I'm pretty sure, I've got a theory, this is just a testing zone for the game engine that they stuck in at the last minute. We have a slow moving character, no facial expressions, like it's walled on all sides. It looks really weird to me, but basically there's a switch at the top. That's an amplification device. LeChuck is going to use the ultimate insult on that, and it will control all the pirates in the Caribbean. So we jump up to that, and we are going to flip the switch, which triggers a showdown with LeChuck. Or rather, like a giant statue animated LeChuck. Yeah, it's convoluted. There's a lot more to the story than I've really said. This is a puzzle that no one has ever solved. No one has solved this casually. Everyone's looked up a walkthrough, or just stumbled upon the answer. So you're supposed to have noticed during monkey combat that when you draw 3 times, monkeys hit their heads. I mean, we didn't even get 3 draws, so... but luckily, in this case... there you go. Luckily, in this case, Ozymandias is on top of LeChuck's head, so you draw 3 times, you get him to hit his head and it kills Ozymandias and it solves the puzzle. Really, really specific observation puzzle that, yeah, pretty sure just no one has solved that the way it's intended. Oops. Oh, yes. CEO. And so right after this, there is going to be a bit of conversation, and the timer ends when Guybrush says, "I want to be a pirate." So that's the 3rd draw, and we skip one last cutscene, and I want to
be a pirate.
I'm wonderful. You came in at... let's see here. I'm still on a little bit of a delay. Looks like 55-55.
Oh, all the 5s, brilliant. Thank you very much, that's a good time.
And under your estimated, though.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so a lot of that is the various strategies from just the last week. I think pretty much anyone that's running this game or wants to run this game, you can immediately take 2 minutes off off your time with the new strategies, and that new JoJo thing is just wild. It really does speed up monkey combat.
Well, thank you so much, and GG, wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I guess up next we've got a race. Tales of Monkey Island Chapter 3. So that's going to be Lair of the Leviathan between the Wolves and Archmagus. So good luck to the both of those runners. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to have to sign off from my shift, so I wanted to say thank you for having me, and it was wonderful to work with everybody. And I hope to do this more often. I'm hoping to get back into streaming, so of course, if anybody wants, I'll be around here on multi_player as I have been. And Casey, good luck. That's so much work that you've done just even recently, and I had been watching it and was just so impressed, so I'm so glad I got to see it live.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, in that case, I will pass it off. Thank you so much.